Most people never realize they are wasting their lives because nothing dramatic ever happens to warn them. No alarms go off. No voice from the sky tells them to stop. Instead, life slips away quietly while they are busy surviving instead of living. Waking up each morning already tired, not because they worked hard, but because they slept without purpose, checking their phones before checking their dreams, telling themselves they will start tomorrow, they will change next week, they will become serious next year, believing time is unlimited while spending it like it means nothing. And this is how life is lost, not through failure but through delay. Because delay feels safe, delay feels comfortable, delay feels harmless. Yet delay is the most dangerous decision a human being can make. Because every delayed dream slowly turns into regret, and every wasted day becomes a permanent memory you can never rewrite. There was a time when this truth felt distant to a young man who believed life would always give him another chance, another morning, another year. He wasn't careless or irresponsible in his own eyes. He simply believed he had time, and that belief became his biggest lie, because he filled his days with distractions that felt like relief, entertainment that felt like happiness, and routines that felt like stability, while deep inside there was a quiet voice reminding him that he was meant for more, a voice he kept silencing by staying busy, by staying comfortable, by staying distracted, until days turned into months and months into years. And one day he realized he was standing in the same place while the world had moved on without him, watching others build careers, families, confidence, and purpose, while he collected excuses and unfinished plans, telling himself his moment would come, unaware that moments don't come to people who wait, they come to people who act. The frightening part was not that he failed, but that he never truly tried, because trying requires discomfort. And discomfort was something he had trained himself to avoid, choosing short-term pleasure over long-term fulfillment, choosing rest over growth, choosing familiarity over risk. And slowly his ambition faded, not all at once, but in small unnoticed pieces, like a fire dying not from a storm but from lack of fuel, until one ordinary day became extraordinary for the worst reason, when he was confronted with the sudden loss of someone his own age, someone who also believed they had time. And in that moment, reality hit him with a force stronger than fear, because fear fades, but realization stays. And he understood something most people realize too late, that life does not care about your plans, your intentions, or your potential. It only responds to your actions. And the time you waste today will not feel sorry for you tomorrow. Standing there, surrounded by silence and unanswered questions, he saw his own reflection in that loss, not in death itself, but in the unfinished life behind it. The dreams that would never be completed, the words that would never be spoken, the goals that would never be chased. And it terrified him to understand that the greatest tragedy is not dying young. It is living long without purpose, reaching old age with a heart full of regret instead of memories, realizing you spent your strongest years preparing to live instead of actually living. That night, he could not sleep, because once you see the truth, you cannot unsee it. And the truth was simple but brutal. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is responsible for your future except you. And every excuse you make is a choice you are actively making to stay where you are. And from that night forward, he stopped romanticizing motivation and started respecting discipline. Because motivation is emotional and temporary, but discipline is logical and permanent. Motivation waits for the right mood. Discipline moves regardless of how you feel. And he finally understood that successful people are not more talented or more lucky. They are simply more honest with themselves about what needs to be done and more consistent in doing it. Change did not happen overnight, and that is another lie people believe, that transformation must be dramatic. But real change is quiet, lonely, and repetitive. It is waking up when you don't feel like it, working when nobody is watching, choosing growth when comfort is calling your name, failing without quitting, improving without applause, and trusting a process you cannot yet see. And slowly, almost invisibly, his life began to shift, not because the world changed, but because his priorities did. His time became valuable because he stopped giving away for free. His confidence grew because he kept promises to himself. And his purpose became clear because he stopped running from responsibility. He learned that life rewards those who respect it, who treat each day as something irreplaceable, not something to be killed. And he realized that wasting time is not about doing nothing. It is about doing things that take you nowhere. And most people are busy all day but move nowhere in life, exhausted but unfulfilled, occupied but empty, because they confuse movement with progress, noise with meaning, and pleasure with happiness. The older he grew, the more he understood that every version of your future self is watching you right now, either thanking you or begging you to stop, and the person you become tomorrow is built by the decisions you make today, not the plans you write or the words you speak, but the actions you repeat, because repetition creates identity, and identity creates destiny. And the hardest truth of all is that life will not slow down for you. It will not wait for you to be ready, confident, healed, or prepared. It moves forward whether you move with it or not. And if you choose to stand still, you don't pause life. You simply fall behind. Now imagine reaching the end of your life and looking back, not at the mistakes you made, but at the risks you never took, the chances you ignored, the dreams you abandoned, the version of yourself you're too afraid to become. Imagine realizing that you had the time, the ability, and the opportunity, but you traded them for comfort, distraction, and fear. And ask yourself honestly if that is a future you are willing to accept, because that future is being built right now in the small choices you think don't matter, the hours you waste, the habits you keep, the standards you tolerate, and the lies you tell yourself about starting later. If you are listening to this now, understand this clearly. This is not just a story. This is a warning. Because you don't get your life back once it's gone. There are no refunds, no rewinds, no second drafts. And one day you'll wake up older, not wiser, wondering where the years went, unless you decide today to stop wasting what you can never replace, to stop waiting for permission, approval, or motivation, and to start living with intention, urgency, and courage. Because the truth is simple and uncomfortable. Your life will not change unless you do. And the cost of wasting your life is far greater than the pain of changing it. So don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait for confidence. Don't wait for everything to make sense. Start now, imperfect, afraid, and uncertain, because action creates clarity, discipline creates freedom, and the life you want is built by what you do after this moment, not by what you've already lost. And remember this above all else. The greatest mistake you can ever make is believing you have more time than you actually do.